Previously on Second Fiddles. Before the threat attacked Rose City, we received a surprise call from Ploonjer, the alien general we encountered in the Kroman space station known as the Toilet. Ploonjer warned us of the threat's arrival and told us he was on his way to Earth to serve Chameleon, his new sovereign supreme. When we last saw them, Ploonjer shape-shifted into Elijah's form to communicate with us. Elijah won't like it, but that's not changing anytime soon. Unless any random voice actors out there want to volunteer to play Ploonjer in an upcoming season of Second Fiddles, the same actor will have to play double duty. Ha! The writer of this episode now wants me to make a joke about using the word duty as if I was referring to poop, but I will not oblige his childish whims. Let's begin.
Episode 47, Sovereign Supreme.
I am honored to be in your presence, Your Highness.
It'll be Your Highness if you don't stop calling me that. How many times do I have to say get f***ed?
Oh, but you are, and there's nothing you can do about it.
I could just leave you here forever alone.
What is this space, anyway? What is its purpose?
This is where you live now.
Are you joking?
What, is it too small for your bougie standards?
Quite the contrary. This room is enormous.
Seriously? This is basically a cell with a kitchenette and a bedroom with an ensuite.
There is another room? I am not expected to sleep on this thing here.
No, that's a couch.
I'm confused. Why am I being treated like royalty?
You're not. These rooms are There aren't any windows, and the water pressure is lackluster at best.
On Toilet, even as the Ploonjer, my room was a cube spanning 2 Earth meters.
How dare you use the metric system in my presence? What's that, like 6 by 6 feet?
Give or take a few, inches. Why don't you use the metric system? It's so simple.
Don't even get me started.
So, why do I have the privilege of residing here?
These quarters are set aside for supervillain resources. There's no way to escape, hence the lack of windows and accessible air vents, but we don't want to strip you of your, humanity.
I am not human, Your Grace.
I mean your chrominity? Let's workshop that.
I do not understand.
We try to be humane, to show, I don't know, some level of compassion?
You do this for what you call super villains?
Only if they're helpful. If you offer us some valuable skills or information, you can get some extra comforts. If they bullshit us, though, it's back to Kroman-level hospitality. A little system we call quid pro quo.
Quid pro quo. I like the way those words feel in my mouth.
Oh, that's not creepy. Huh. I just remembered a henchie I fought with a couple years ago. Squid pro quo.
What is a henchie?
It's short for hench person.
Ah.
He was a lobbyist with tentacles growing out of his chest. He quit henching to work for a big oil company, which is kind of like getting a promotion to full-fledged villain if you think about it.
Do you command that I think about it, Your Highness?
You're really serious about serving me, aren't you?
Oh, yes. My life belongs to you. My only purpose is to do whatever my Sovereign Supreme wishes of me.
And you said the previous Sovereign Supreme was killed by the threat?
Yes, as were your siblings, the other royal ambassadors. Because you have yet to awaken your Kroman self. Their technology could not detect you.
That would explain why they thought I was human when I was posing as Max during the attack.
Indeed, Your Highness. Had you already awakened, they would have seen through your deception.
And that's why I'm only able to shift into other human forms, right?
Correct. A tragic limitation. I, however, am able to shift into any other species I have encountered.
Not just humanoids? You can turn into animals, too?
Within reason, Great One. I always maintain the same mass, so I can become very small and dense, but when I grow larger, it becomes difficult to maintain.
Yeah, I've experimented enough with height and weight to figure that one out.
You are clever and resourceful, my liege.
I f***ing hate suck-ups.
I will quit it immediately, my glorious, generous, noble majesty.
You're awful. So, before you awakened your Croman self, what species were you stuck as?
The limitations are only imposed on the royal ambassadors, such as you and your kin. This serves to protect them from early detection. If you could shift into other species, you would be immediately known to be of a superior race.
Ploonjer, do not use that term ever again. There's no f***ing such thing as a superior race. Got it?
Understood, Your Highness.
Great. So, if you've never been awakened, what does that mean?
It means I never had to reproduce in order to unlock my full potential. I've been awesome since birth.
How many babies have you made? Millions?
Oh, that would be most unseemly, Your Majesty. Only high-ranking crowmen such as yourself are permitted to spread our legacy through the universe.
So, no babies.
No babies. I mean, I've eaten many a baby, of course, but unfortunately, none of them were my own.
Ah, I forgot about that part.
We do not need them to survive, but they sure are tasty.
Excuse me while I throw up forever.
I will consume your regurgitation as well, if you wish.
I deserved that. Still.
You have much to learn of our ways, my liege.
That's what you can thank for the cushy digs. You share information on the Croman, I give you a larger metric space.
I thank you for all this quid pro quo.
Sweet Jesus, stop saying it like that.
If I may be so daring to ask your majesty, I have a question about humans.
Oh, this should be interesting. What is it?
You once told me that you go through the act of reproducing with other humans for pleasure, and contraception prevents you from satisfying the Croman imperative to spread your genetics. Is this correct?
I really don't feel any urge to have kids. I just love f***ing. That's all the satisfaction I need.
Intriguing. So, perhaps the feelings I'm feeling in this body aren't to reproduce, but instead to feel pleasure?
Are you having sexual thoughts?
Perhaps. I wouldn't really know either way.
Wait, are you a virgin?
Yes, Your Grace, I already told you. My caste is not permitted to reproduce.
That's f***ed up.
Our base form has no sex organs, remember? We are asexual beings, and I've never been in the form of a species that reproduces for pleasure before.
Well, that sucks.
Would you do me the honor of educating me on the ways of human pleasure?
No. I'll show you how to use the internet, and if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know, and far more than you could ever want to know, then you can ask me.
As you say, my liege, thank you for your kindness and compassion.
That comes from being raised human. That, and I'm very sex positive.
I will take your word for it.
Yeah, you will. Time for you to answer a question now.
It would be the honor of my pitiful existence. I am an insignificant worm, and you are a mighty worm-ingesting predator. Please, figuratively, beat my brain with your question until I reply with a satisfactory answer.
Okay. Were you happy as the Ploonjer?
Well, to be honest with you, my liege, I was only promoted and given the title of Ploonjer mere days before your arrival at Toilet. Most of my life was spent fulfilling other duties.
Like what?
Before my promotion, I was a pilot. That's why I was able to outmaneuver the threat's ship when I escaped from the Toilet. I was the best in the fleet. That's why, when my superiors were called away, I was the highest-ranking crewman remaining.
Wait, so you never actually fought the A-League? You made it sound like you were responsible for their deaths.
I was new to the job, my grace, and I felt like some bravado was necessary to impress an ambassador.
Huh. That didn't stop you from torturing Elijah, though.
Well, I gave the commands, yes, but I never laid hands on the invisible dude. To be frank, I am not skilled at inflicting pain and removing parts from prisoners. I always jump the gun and kill them instantly. I'm not very good at drawing it out.
At least I know you're not lying. Elijah told me the same thing about you.
I swore to be honest with you, and I will not waver from that pledge. I am forever yours. Until you die, that is.
How greatly reassuring.
I am pleased that your friend survived the crewman interrogation process. I can tell he means a lot to you, and your happiness is my happiness.
Thanks, Ploonjer. I don't know why, but I actually believe everything you're saying.
You would know without a doubt if I was telling a falsehood. Let me demonstrate. I love the human race.
Whoa, I actually knew you were lying.
See? I was telling the truth. The Sovereign Supreme isn't respected and obeyed out of mere tradition. It is a biological imperative. Even though you're not awakened and cannot feel it yourself, I am drawn to you. I feel tied to you, connected. Your wish is literally my command.
Huh. Okay, this is a lot to take in.
That's what she said, Your Majesty.
What?
Oh, during my trip to Earth, I researched the culture through binging certain entertainment programs.
Oh, great. I feel like having an alien quoting pop culture references fulfills some sort of trope, but I'm not even sure which one. Did you happen to watch Game of Thrones?
Winter is apparently coming, my liege. I also watched a lot of something called Lizzie McGuire, and a series of films about supernatural humanoids that glitter in sunlight.
Anything but Twilight.
I am very sorry to upset you.
It's okay, Ploonjer. Many things upset me. Wait, Ploonjer's your title, right? So, do you have a name?
Yes, Your Grace. But my designation cannot be pronounced with this simple human mouth.
Designation? Are you all numbered or something?
Indeed. There are spreadsheets upon spreadsheets of our race's version of alphanumeric codes.
You're like nameless stormtroopers?
Yes, but our aim is slightly better.
What would you like to be called?
Reaching the rank of Ploonjer was the highest honor of my life, before arriving here to serve you, Your Majesty. So, I would be proud to maintain the title. With your permission, of course.
Sure, whatever floats your boat.
Buoyancy counteracting gravitational forces?
What?
That is literally what floats a boat.
That was such a Sophia answer. Do you miss being Ploonjer?
Oh, yes, very much so. But I learned shortly after your arrival on our station that the toilet was being decommissioned, and I was promoted merely to captain of a sinking ship.
That was one too many boat references in a row for my liking.
Sorry, my liege. I won't rock the boat by making any more such references.
Great. So you're stealing Elijah's body and his sense of humor. So why was the toilet shut down?
The decommissioning never actually happened, as the threat arrived and destroyed it, and everyone inside, except for me, before it was converted.
Converted into what?
Well, a larger space station was being constructed, combining the diplomatic and trade-based spaces for the toilet with the wartime capabilities of a battle cruiser.
Oh, like tearing down an old Taco Bell to replace it with a new Taco Bell/KFC?
I don't know what that means, Your Highness.
That's probably for the best.
At first, I thought that decommissioning was my fault, as I was blamed for releasing Danger Damsel and Smasher into your custody. But Earth didn't matter to our prior Sovereign Supreme, so it was really just bad timing. The former Ploonjer had been promoted to Cake of the new space station, the Urinal.
He went from being the toilet Ploonjer to being the urinal Cake.
Yes, it was quite the promotion.
Your language really sucks.
Does it suck as powerfully as a brooding, cultish family of absurdly pallid young adults in a rainy town in Washington?
What did I say about Twilight references?
Ooh, I could adopt a name from those films. You could call me Renesmee.
Could, but will not.
I beg your forgiveness, Your Grace. I shall do my best to avoid Twilight references in the future.
You will, yes.
So, Your Highness, if you don't mind me asking, what's next?
What do you mean?
What's next for me? Will I live out the rest of my life alone in these quarters?
Oh, I really don't know.
Ah.
I have a lot of questions for you, especially now that I'm raising Stevie.
I take it that you are referring to the Croman spawn that Danger Damsel had incubated?
There's a human thing called adoption. Consider Stevie to be my child, which means any harm to them would result in my grave displeasure, so jot that down.
Have they begun transforming into other forms?
Not that I've seen. I only started shapeshifting when I was a teenager, so we have a long time to prepare for that, right?
Your abilities were delayed because of your role as a royal ambassador. Stevie doesn't have those limitations. They should be able to start transforming within months of being born.
Oh, me with the weed whacker. Thankfully, no, they have not started doing that yet.
It's only a matter of time. Would you like a lesson on Croman life cycle, my liege? And perhaps basic biology?
As horrifying as both of those sound, I do, for Stevie's sake.
I would be honored. Oh, glorious Sovereign Supreme.
Yeah. Your teaching better be a vast improvement over your taste in movies.
Of course! You see, the Croman race first evolved from a species not unlike an Earth squid. Are you familiar with what chromatophores are, my liege?
Oh, God. I am already regretting this.
In this episode of Second Fiddles, Chameleon is voiced by Elena Langan, Ploonjer is voiced by Nick Bissett, and Sophia is voiced by Robin Raimi. Music by Pete Johnson, and writing, producing, and sound design by Matt Johnson. To connect with us on social media, follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Second Fiddles Podcast, Tumblr at Second Fiddles, and X, Twitter, at Second Fiddles, spelled 2ND Fiddles. Transcripts of all of our episodes can be found at our website, secondfiddlespodcast.com. Thank you for listening.